All right, what up? Peace first and foremost. Hopefully, most on your house shall is blessing your day. Give all praise, honor, and glory, and to esteem to them. Honestly, I forget to do that too. Actually, we can forget to do that a lot of times too. But by His mercy you are consumed, man. I just want to come in with a quick video, man, because I was thinking about this yesterday, man. Because I remember talking about this with my dad a while back, man. Also too, and shout out to brothers Simi Firstborn and brothers like Kwame Call, Shalom, brothers like Akawar and brother Elijah, man. We took bros on this too, because you know what? A lot of times we're not used to cause had Yahweh Shah been on the earth now, Christ, man. Honestly, people don't, cause you know what it is too. We're let's just go into this real quick, man. Let's get this Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12, man, because I'm kind of jumping the gun, but then Jeremiah, because I was thinking about this because of course shout out to the brother Sammy Firstborn, because like he said, man, Yahweh Shah did have a wife, man. It was Israel, it was his people, honestly, and also too is his yeah, it was his people. Yahweh Christ did actually have a wife, man, spiritually, but carnally. No, but we're gonna see it out this in the prophets in the in the Old Testament, man, of something like that, when somebody is not focused on pleasure as as it is doing the will of the Most High House shot, man. We're gonna look at that honestly, because shout out to brother send me firstborn, man, because like he said, like in I think there was a class the other day, or one of the older classes I was watching, man, so let's see, like, that's why because you know what it is too, it's because of this what we're about to get reading Isaiah 33, and and this coming from that, part of it is the curses, and part of it is just the state of our people. That's why I had to come back to our God, man, because honestly too, when honestly, the Most High House that teaches about manhood, honestly, and also too, like the brother somebody first one said, we should have principles as men even before we come into the word, and because a lot of times too, that's going to be, as they say in the professional world and the job world, transferable skills, man. Because honestly, even before, because you know what it is too, because a lot of things I had to that's why it says renew the mind, be born again, because a lot of things that about manhood, I'm still learning, man, because some things that was taught to me by my father, or things they didn't teach me, or my uncles, or my peoples that, in my family, or my teachers, mentors, or elders, or OGs around the way, just coming up, honestly, that told me, gave me game, but also too, I gotta learn a lot of things too, because certain things you know I taught certain things they just didn't teach me, man, because and that's what it is too, man. That lack of, and that's what it is too. A lot of these young brothers, young jakes out here are fiending, wanting for, it's a lack of instruction. Some of them want it, but some of them just don't. Majority of them just don't. But some of them, they want it, they just don't. They just don't have the proper guidance. Just like our young sisters, man. It's more of this is what it is, man. But let's grab this to Isaiah 3 and 12 real quick, man. Isaiah chapter 3 verse 12. It says. Um, Isaiah 3 verse 12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women shall rule them. O my people, which they cause thee to err, and destroy the way that I pass." Yeah, it passed, exactly. So yeah, we see that. And let's get to Jeremiah 31:22, because a lot of times too, our people, just men, and you can say men in general, no matter what nation they are, but majority, I'm focusing on with our people, man, with our nation, with our people, man, because it's being taught, especially the men of our people, it's taught to always that Jahim spirit, that puts your woman first spirit. No, you put the Most on your house out first, man. Because we always say on here, man, Adam had rule and dominion before Eve got in the picture, man. So that's no, and there's no slight against our women, our sisters, something like that. It's just really, as a man, the will of the Most High Yahushua, they come first, man. The Most High Yahushua comes first, then it's his purpose, man. We see this a lot of times too, and also too, that the isolation period is really key in growth, honestly, man, because you see it in one, I could personally touch this, because my brother and my homie, man, once they got out their last relationship, man, things gradually got better for them, man. Even to this day, even we see it in the comic movies all the time, in the movies all the time. So that, even now, it mainly shows in the comic book movies as well, because Batman became Batman when he was alone, Superman became Superman when he was alone, Spider-Man became Spider-Man when he was alone, Hulk became somebody like the Hulk learned to channel like his who the Hulk, Bruce Banner learned how to balance a Hulk when he was alone. That's why even the Hulk and y'all ever see the when in Marvel back the original in 2008, well the first one, well that the only one honestly, well yeah no the one from Marvel in 2008, like Edward Norton at the end that played the Hulk at the time, he's by himself honestly. He's like that's where he learns to channel in like to balance that. But that's what it is. And Jacob too, we see this in the word. Jacob became Israel, became a new man, boy. When he was by himself, Moses had to go up alone, Yahushua had to go up alone, Jeremiah was alone, Ezra was alone, man. So we see this honestly, man. So that isolation period, like the Brother Chronicles Judah used to say, that's really a time of spiritual growth as a man, honestly. So and also too, man, your purpose always comes first, man. Honestly, as man, your purpose always comes first, man. Well, one, the Most High Yahushua comes first, then it's your purpose, I should say. Yeah, man. Because just like the second Adam, like Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh, it was us before we were a nation, man. Because a lot of times too, that's what we always say, brothers, like be mindful of women that you come across, and they think that your life started with them. Honestly, like no, I was like any man with purpose or successful was like no, I was like I had stuff going on before I met you. You coming in my life is like is a plus. I want to add on to your life, honestly, benefit you as well. Add on to your life and make it better, make it more valuable. Not it's valuable, but yeah, add value to your life, honestly. But that's just is what it is too. At the end of the day, as well, man. So kind of gotta look at it like that. Because I say this to say because our and that's just kind of taught to our brothers, man. Let's get Jeremiah 31 verse 22. It says, and how how long, thou go about, O thou backsliding door, for the Lord hath created a new thing in earth. A woman shall compass a man. Exactly, man. So I don't even know who that is calling me. But it's all good. Yeah, man. So that's is what it is. So that's why it's like kind of is what it is. Because because a lot of times too, when a lot of times too, not only because to fulfill a lot of parts of the word, why Yahushua didn't have a natural wife, because like that wasn't his purpose. His purpose was to do the will of his Father, and and that was fulfilling the book, honestly, and to say and clear up his holy name, him and his father's and his holy namesake that we defiled. Honestly, that's what it was, and save, and also too to save people that didn't even deserve it, man. Save people too. Save those that believe that didn't even deserve it, man. Honestly, save from sin and death, and put an end to sin and death. Honestly, that's just what it is. That's what was his purpose was, and many other things as well. But yeah, but a lot of times people look at it like that's why people look at a man now so focused on his purpose and driven as his taboo, or is he like a homosexual or something like that, or lust, or other things that don't drive him as much, that doesn't do anything for him, because that's what it is, man. So and pleasure, honestly, I should say, doesn't do that, man, because that's just what it is. That's why it's taboo, that's why it's taboo that Yahushua if it had Yahushua been around during that time, honestly, I mean during these times nowadays, people would he'd probably be on the most wanted list, and two, it just would have been people look at him like taboo. No, because people aren't used to, like I was talking about this with my pop, people aren't used to a man like that, honestly, they're not. So it's just because it's kind of on my mind, rather than pleasure, rather than the purpose, the mission, honestly. So yeah, man. So let's grab this second stand. No, we're gonna look at this, man, because what, we're gonna notice this right in the prophets, man. We're gonna go look at this, with Uriah, honestly. Now it's crazy that the son of David was like Uriah in this instance, or I should say Uriah had a spirit of Yahushua in this instance, man. But this all relates to the gospel witness and testimony of the new covenant, man. Because let's just look at this right real quick, man. 2 Samuel 11 real quick. 2 Samuel, because this after this after David commits adultery with Bathsheba, and now he wants Uriah to to lay with his wife, so it can so he'll kind of scheme him to make the thing, the baby that is his and things of that nature. So y'all pretty much familiar with the story, but notice how David was trying to get him to sleep, his pleasure, to sleep with Uriah, to lay with his wife for pleasure. But notice what Uriah says. This 2 Samuel 11 verse 11. It says, and And it says, and Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents. My lord Joab, my servants of my lord, are encamped in the open fields. Shall I go into my house and eat and drink and go lie with my wife? And as thou livest, my soul live, I will not do this thing. So see, but notice how this, right? Notice how Uriah said, listen, I'm not going to go eat and drink, like, because I had to do what my Lord commanded me, like, but his overseer, David's mighty captain, Joab. Like, Joab was no joke, by the way. Anyway, but yeah, I had to go do that with the ark. And what the ark of the covenant, man. So we're gonna see this too. We're gonna get Malachi real quick, but yeah, we see this. And notice how Uriah, and you know what it is too. That's why if you know anything about Uriah, well, his name means Yahweh is my fire, man. So then let's grab this too, because yeah, even let's go to Luke. Then we're gonna go to Romans real quick, because Yahweh Shah was like this, man. Luke chapter 2 and verse 49. It says, and he said unto him, how is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business? So yeah, exactly. I said business. So yeah, let's go Romans chapter 12 verse 11, man, because that's why it says, Paul says, like, serve the Most High house with a fervent heat. And like, Uriah was doing that, man. Like, Uriah was serving his king, like, in the Most High house and his king, and his overseers, like, with a fervent heat, man. Because what does Uriah mean? How is my fire? The Most High is my fire. God is my fire. So yeah, let's get Romans chapter 12 verse 11. It says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So yeah, exactly, like a fiery type of spirit, serving the Most High Yahushua, man, with a ready heart and a willing mind, man. Honestly, like the Chronicles of Maccabee says, like, sincerity and truth, honestly. So yeah, man, let's grab a Malachi 3, because notice how Uriah was trying to be with the Ark of the Covenant. He was trying to, like, sleep with the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, he was worried about, like, the Ark of, like, the Covenant, man. That, like, he wasn't worried about having a natural wife. He wasn't worried about his natural wife, I should say. He wasn't worried about having pleasure or laying with her, man. That same thing with Yahweh Shah, man. That's why he didn't have that, because he had a bigger purpose. His like, Uriah is just like a foreshadow. Yahweh Shah did what just Uriah did. His spirit and mentality was that Uriah on steroids, man, because he came to fulfill the book. So imagine why Yahushua was going as hard as he was going to, man, because it was his will to do the Father's will. Honestly, that's what it is. He came to do the will of him that sent him, man. So yeah, notice how Uriah. Let's read this one more time. It says, and Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord encamp in the open fields. Shall I go then into my house and to eat and drink and to lie with my wife, as thou livest, as thy soul liveth, I will not do such things. So see, yeah, so this is, now let's see how the son of David, because even though, get twisted too, even though we talking about this David's mishap, it's scripture for our learning, David had the same spirit too, but David, his thing was more of nothing separated to the love for the Most High house shot for him. Nothing separated the love for him, honestly. And Uriah just had the spirit of, like, I had to, like, the fiery spirit, like, I had to, like, he would serve them with sincerity and truth, with a willing mind. He just says he wasn't worried about pleasure or his own will, his own lust, or, like, even like, the king, even this is the king at the time saying this, like, no, man, I gotta stay by the, like, the covenant, man. So that's why Malachi 3:1, that's what Yahushua did on the spirits, like, because Yahushua said, my words of spirit. This is what Yahushua did, man. He wasn't worried about it. That's why he didn't have like that, because his mission was greater. That's why a lot of people can't kind of comprehend that, especially in this mother goddess worship time, and, like, this as the prophet women show, like the Jeremiah 31:22, as we just read. A lot of people can't comprehend that, man, because it's not just like mother goddess, divine feminine worship, or feminine, or the patriarchal, like, matriarchal type of society or world, especially in the Western world, I should say, because, like, I'm not going to say so for the whole world, but the whole world's kind of, some parts of the world is like that, but not, other parts of the world is getting like that, but more Western liberal type of mentality, man. But Yahushua, that wasn't his purpose, man. His purpose, like, was the new covenant, man. Is preaching the gospel, witness, the testimony, man. He had that with Uriah. Listen, man, he ain't had time for that. We just see that, foreshadow that with Uriah, but Yahushua did that on a higher level. It says Malachi chapter 3 verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger and he shall prepare the way before me. That way Yahushua. And the Lord whom he shall seek, and suddenly come into his temple, the messenger of the covenant, whom he delight, and behold, shall come and saith the Lord of hosts. So see, yeah, exactly, man. That's what it is, man. Because that's how Uriah was worried about the ark of the covenant, and his his fellow soldiers, his fellow brethren, so was Yahushua, man. Like, honestly, even to this day, honestly, and also, too, more importantly, doing the will of his father and fulfilling the book. Because he had to, man. Because, one, he had no choice, because he was slain from the foundation of the earth. That's why everything's of the Most High's will, or the Most High, will. Like, that's why Romans 14:8 says what it says. Where we live, where we die, it's all unto the Lord. It's all his will, man. Like, we could plan things, but it's all the Lord's will be done, man. So, yeah. So honestly, man, yeah, that's the thing about that too. Let's get to 2 Samuel real quick again. And Uriah said unto David, the ark, Israel, and Judah abide in these tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. And shall I then go into my house and eat and drink, and to live with my wife, as thou liveth, and as I so liveth, I will not do this. I will not do such thing. Exactly, man. So, and that's the thing too, man. Exactly. So, yeah, man, we can have the same, spirit and mentality now, man. Like, why? Because the will of the Most High House shall last forever, man. But notice how he's worried about the Ark of the Covenant. That's how we were, shout out to brothers now, man. Like, you got, that's where, that's on that, man. It's brothers like Kwame Call, Shalimah, brother from 71st Born, brother, Akawar, brother, I don't even know who that is. Why did I send that? Anyway, brother Elijah, man, and other brothers, the gospel, witness, testimony, new covenant, man. That's all throughout the four corners of earth, man. But that's worried about that. But also too, man, that's what it's about. Honestly, just what's I going to say? Yeah, that's what it's about, man. He wasn't worried about that, man. He was worried about the covenant, man. That's how Yahushua was. He wasn't worried about pleasure and things of that nature. Even though it is too, like the brother sent me firstborn said, man. Like, as men, honestly, now, no, let's grab this inside right. Honestly, let's grab this too. We should be focusing on having not having fun, because it's too. That's why he even compares. That's how he even compares us to Jeremiah 62, Israel, our people to a woman, man. Because we always say here, to know the spirit and mentality, how our people operate, have to know the behavior of women and children, because that's what's very similar, man. That's why, because just like that Cyndi Lauper song back in the day, girls just want to have fun. Honestly, I think Cameron, he remade it back in 04, 21 years ago. But yeah, man, that's what it is. Girls just want to have fun, because most women, for the most part, it's a very few, but most of them don't like monotony, and they don't like every day being the same, honestly. That's why a lot of them get divorced and leave and go on these trips and things of that nature and do all this type of stuff, because they think most of the time, mostly the Western liberal women, I should say, but honestly, I should say, but majority of them, honestly, they feel like every day should be a roller coaster ride. But it's no different. But see, that's how this world and society is engineering, people now, because they're what we're being told, everything's fun, just having it's not even balanced, because there's nothing wrong with having a good time and things of that nature. But that's how, as men, we should be seeking a good time, honestly. Even in that, it has to be balanced, honestly. But yeah, man, that's just what it is, because there's nothing wrong with that, man. Because with some more people, that's nothing wrong with that. But that's what it is too, because we that's what this kind of social engineering is. That's why I remember my pop, kind of going back to what we was talking about earlier, man. One of the things my pop always told me, man, even before the war, he would call me. He says, he said, son, what you doing? I'm like, I was sitting here kind of bored. He said, well, son, you always have to be entertained all the time. And that's a fact, man, because women and children are like that, man, honestly. And that's what I noticed. It's very key with this generation now. I mean, it was happening in my time too, even probably the generation, my dad and mom's generation before me even. But it's it happened kind of then, but it's even heightened even now, especially with the age of technology and things of that nature, with these with technology, social media, man, pretty much, man, it's going to be even heightened now. So because even something going to a Dorney Park or a Six Flags, honestly, that for me growing up, that, or movies, stuff like that was enough for for me, me growing up, man. But now these this younger this generation now, man, it's oh my gosh, that's that's kind of light work to them. You gotta. But that's another story for another day. I ain't kind of going to that generation warfare thing. I'm just saying that's how it is, honestly. But let's grab 1 John real quick. Actually, no, let's go to Cyrac real quick, man. Kind of going to what we talking about. Because as men, honestly, you should be focused on having a good time, not fun, honestly, man. Because even with the good time, man. Because as I get old, as I like, kind of even get older, man. Um, like, a good time to me is like, talking to one of my brothers, like, in the word, like, going over like the word, or like watch, like, or like, even in the word or outside the word, or like, just sitting around. Like, sometimes, of course, I go to concerts and sports events here and that's stuff. I like movies, stuff like that, those things. But man, more like just kind of like being around. I remember like the last, like I say this all the time, the last DMX concert, like, he had in Philly, missed just years ago, like 2019, May 2019, before I was in the word. But he said, man, he said, listen, kind of going to what we talking about. He said, listen, man, I ain't say this verbatim. He didn't say this per se. He said it another way, but he said, "Listen, man, I had sex with a lot of women, man. I did." He said, "But it's nothing. That feeling is nothing but being compared to being in a room with people that love you, man. And that's facts, man. That will stick with the rest of me, the rest of my life. That's why it's the best concert I ever went to, man. Because that he said that, man. That's just stuck with me, man. Kind of like what the word says, though, man. That's that sincerity and truth, man. Honestly, that's why I do in the Most High house as well. That, like, that seeking out, like, having that pleasure to get to a place of pleasure, to get back to Garden Eden. Like, that's why his pleasure is give you a place of pleasure. That's why you had the pleasure to get to that place of pleasure, man, which is the kingdom. One inwardly, also to a physical kingdom, man, because that beats. That's why Psalms 84 says, listen, like, a day in thy courts is better than 1,000 on this side, man. So, a day in the kingdom and paradise is better than my best days I ever had on this side, man. So just think about that. Think about your best days or best year you ever had, or one of, like, your prime years, something like that. One day in the kingdom, like, one day with the Most High house is better than all that, man. New heavens, new earth is better than all that, man. Honestly, like, now we know the kingdom is within, but even the physical kingdom. But that's neither here nor there. Let's grab this. About then we're gonna end off with First John. I'm just gonna take not much pleasure in good cheer. Dang, where was it at? Yeah, Ecclesiastes also known as right. Oh yeah, all praise to the Most High house. It's the 18th, man. Today's the 18th, and this is in Ecclesiastes 18. Oh man, look at the Most High house. All praise him, man. Ecclesiastes, I forgot I was here. Ecclesiastes chapter 18, verse 32. It says, Take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to expense thereof. So see that? What is that saying, man? Kind of what we just talking about, man. It's kind of talking about like being a party animal, man. Because even in the word, like, you kind of got to balance certain things, man. Like, because I was supposed to go to a concert, like, yesterday, actually, with my mother, and yesterday, and like, and her end up. My brother was supposed to go, my sister was supposed to go, and my aunt, but they end up going, but but they actually didn't end up going, actually. But no, I was end up going to go, but but mom, she didn't. They a lot of them, they couldn't go. My mom's sister, I think my aunt went, but then my mom's two friends, like, went with her, and I was like, Then I had the spirit came on me, and good, like, no, it's not good, but it's a good thing that my mom had lost a ticket. But I was like, what? Certain times it's like certain places too, like, you gotta fall back from. I was like, no, mom, she's going through what she's going through, like, she's going through a lot right now. Mom, here, take my ticket. Honestly, I gave my mom my ticket, honestly, because she had lost hers. So I was like, what, and she was very happy. This, it's too, and that's like, what we always talking about. So I'm not trying to big myself up, talk about this stuff up, but it's more of, this is a learning thing for me, because it's not always about me. Honestly, it's about sometimes, like, that's why the scriptures really is that it is true. What Paul says, better to give than receive. But this is what it is. Also too, like, even last year, like, I went to a show with my aunt, like, the En Vogue show, and to me it was there, man, because I like R&B, old school R&B, like rap and things, and underground golden era rap. I like that stuff. I like any type of music, but I had went with, like, the concert with my aunt. But then my aunt had invited me somewhere else because somebody else, like, this last year, somebody else had backed out again. But I was like, this scripture came to mind. I was like, what? Let me kind of fall back, man. I said it to say that, like, man, let me kind of fall back and balance it, man, because you don't want to be going, like, especially in the word. Not saying that you can't go to the events and things, that you can't go to parties, or, like, the movies, or like, the concerts or whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. Or different of leisure activities or events or hobbies that you like doing. Because don't get twisted. Sirach 14:14 says, "Defraud yourself of not of a good day, man. Whatever, like you know, you know." You like doing, man, do that, pursue that goal that you had to do that. Just don't have to let that overshadow the love of the Most High Yahweh. But also there has to be a balance where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna fall back, man, because that take not pleasure in good cheer. Like, um, you don't want to be a party animal. Just constantly find yourself to go to that. It's like, all right, cool, because it's like, it's kind of a balance type of thing, man. That's just something me personally, honestly. I mean, y'all brothers and sisters can do what y'all feel is best, but I'm just saying it's something I recommend. Like, just kind of like what Paul says, since it's lawful, but now it's expedient to do that. Honestly, just constantly go out and out and out. Like, that's just when certain times you just gotta fall back, honestly. Like, yes, that's what it is. But let's get to 1 John 2:17 real quick, because I forgot that. But yeah, man, even as men, we should be focused on trying to have a good time, not having fun, honestly. But even that, that's a balance with that good time too, man. Because sometimes for having a good time to sit back and being with your brothers and your loved one or your sister or your loved ones, man. Like, or like in the word, outside the word, man. That just is what it is. But more importantly, even more importantly, inside the word, man, because the love of the Most High Yahweh is there. And should be there, I should say. Yeah, is there or should be there, I should say. But 1 John chapter 2:17. My bad, John. I ain't mean to be long-winded. We gonna close out here. It says, and the world passes. Verse 1 John 2:17. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof. See, and the lust thereof. And but he that doeth the will of the will of Yahweh abideth forever. So see, my will don't last long. It's temporarily, honestly. Like, it doesn't last long. But Most High Yahweh's will last forever, man. That's the place of pleasure, man. Honestly. So it's too, even like even something like that, right? This is my kind of, let me say this too, right? Even mathematically, that doesn't add up, honestly. Like, doing your, like, say, like, this sexual list, because your lust can be anything. Money, like, power, attention, eating. Some people is like, like the brother sent me first one said, some people have lust of blasphemy, scoff for, like, contention, strife, anything, gambling, anything could be a lust, right? But let's say it's in sexual sexual aspect, right? Mathematically, that doesn't add up, man. Because me personally, I'm still a virgin, but I don't know. But talking to people that had sex before, man, they said mostly it lasts like 20 or 30 minutes, or sometimes even shorter than that. But so that, like, think about the will of the Most High Yahweh compared to that, or like, even being with somebody, right? Because I just watched a little video, man, and like, it was his brother. Hopefully the brother, like, doesn't mess with this woman anymore, like, because she thought like he was doing everything pretty much for her, and she thought, like, just how a lot of people, like, how they step to Most High Yahweh, man, kind of similar. That's why he compares us to a woman. Think that just her existence was enough, her sex was just enough. Mathematically, that doesn't add up, because think about, because like the brother somebody first one said, man, the men, especially as men, it's going to be more time, like, just in life that you're not having sex than when you are having sex. So that's just is what it is. So anybody, like, even you got brothers and sisters that think this way. Anybody says different, like, you might want to, like, mention that to them, because they even mathematically doesn't add up. Like, because think about the time unless you're just a really, like, whoremonger, pretty much, unless you're just a hoe, or like, or whoremonger, pretty much same thing, but it is what it is. It's just whoremongers, man, hoes, woman, whores, woman, either the same type of stuff, unless you're doing like that, like, unless you want some other type of time, man, honestly, or Will Chamberlain or other stuff type of time. Unless you're doing that, honestly, more than likely, because if you look at one in the word, but even the word aside, if you look at most great men in history, more than likely, man, their moments, their time of having sex was very minute compared to their time not having sex, accomplishing, and doing things that they were to do, man. Because if you ask, I bet if like, an Albert Einstein or a Steve Jobs or who's somebody, or Malcolm X would say, these are just people that that's coming to mind right now, or any even in this word, man, these like, the time of these, like, a great man, not like, having sex is like, is outweighs the time of him having sex or having seeking pleasure, man. Honestly, kind of going to that real we showed, man. Like, honestly, certain even Wallow from Wallow said it the other, like, in I was watching the other day. He said, man, because when he first got home, from prison, like, he said, man, he said, to get where I am now, man, it's many nights I had to, I was in my mom, I was in my mom's crib, man. I had to stay in, man. I had to focus on writing down my plan, honestly, like, I was focused on that. So then later on I can enjoy that, man, because I work. So then, like, my whole life could feel like, I could do what I want to do, man, but this, my purpose really comes first, man. And that's real talk, man. But my point is being is that mathematically that just doesn't even add up, man. Even if you think about it. So if somebody even for sisters too, like, honestly, like, but that it's more for just more of a man conversation. But even certain sisters, man, especially if a man is trying to always have sex with you, it's like, all right, like, come on now. But especially for brothers, man, like, for men, honestly, for the brothers out here, man, like, more than likely, like, it doesn't even mathematically add up how much time in your life you're gonna have sex or have. We're just talking about this lust in this aspect, and compared to not, honestly. So yeah, man, that's just is what it is. But hopefully it's edifying, man. So peace.